Hey there, elites, how's it going? It's me, your guy Waddles. Welcome back. Hope you're doing well in these strange times. Things are weird lately. Today, we're going to talk about the next upcoming update and farms, one of my favorite things in Minecraft. Today, I have 3 super cool, very simple Minecraft 1.16 farms to showcase and show you how to make. Now, I've made videos just like this one before, but it has been a while. If you would like to decrease the amount of time in between this one and the next one, make sure you drop a like on today's video, and if you haven't subscribed yet, well, that's a bad decision. You should definitely change that today. Farm number 1 is this beautiful blue contraption right here. This is a twisted vine farm. Twisted vines are these vines. In the Nether update, you can head into the warped forest biome to find these things all over the place. You can use these vines as basically a climbable rope. I mean, you tell me this doesn't look like a blue rope. I mean, if we had a block above it, yep, definitely a blue rope, 100%. So just to showcase this farm, I'll have to show you guys how it works. Let's go ahead and actually increase the default tick speed to 3000. That's going to speed up the growth rate of these plants. Take a look at this farm in action. This is a beautiful sight. But I think that's good. Let's go ahead and get our tick speed right back down to the default 3. With this farm built in your world, running out of twisted vines will be pretty much impossible after you let it run for a little while. If you've ever built a kelp farm or a sugarcane farm, this farm is very recognizable to you. Down here is our collection chest. The hopper minecart is picking up all of the twisted vines from this farm and putting them right down here so we can grab them and use them in our builds. So this is 7 tiles of the farm. Let's go ahead and talk about one single tile. To build 1 tile of this farm, you will need these materials right here in exact quantities other than the building blocks down here. The light blue glass, that's just a building block. The warped nylium right here represents a plantable block. It doesn't necessarily have to be warped nylium, just has to be something that you can plant twisting vines on. So go ahead and grab these materials, then head over to your build site. For this example, we'll be building 1 single tile of this farm. To build 1 tile, start with a chest and then place a hopper going into that chest. On top of that hopper, place a rail. On top of that rail, place a minecart with a hopper. Now this part is your call. You can remove that rail or you can leave it there. Today, I'm feeling the leave it there vibes, so we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna leave it there. It won't affect anything. After that, temporary block, permanent plantable block right there. Then you can go ahead and remove those temporary blocks. Now, I like to place a building block right there, that's temporary, and then place permanent blocks all around this thing just like that. Then, we can go ahead and remove that block right there. Now, we need the farming contraption. The farming contraption is the following. Piston facing forwards, just like that, then an observer facing in the exact same direction. Make sure the face is looking like that, right above a piston. Now behind there, a block, and then finally a redstone dust right there. Now we need to go ahead and fill this in, just like that, and then finally grab our twisting vines and plant them right down there. Put a roof on this thing and you are good to go. That is the whole farm itself, or at least 1 tile of the farm itself. If you'd like this farm to be more efficient, you should definitely repeat that over and over again, like I did on this model over here. Now, of course, I made things look a little bit more fancy for this example as well. I put trapdoors on top, lots of glass on the front, trapdoors down low. If you are tiling this thing over and over again, then you can actually get away with using 1 single hopper minecart down below this thing instead of a bunch of individual ones. To pull this off, place powered rails at either end near a wall, place some unpowered rails in the middle above a hopper or 2 or 3, and then place a hopper minecart on it. It should continuously run back and forth, bouncing off of each wall, picking up all of the twisting vines on the way. And that is how you build a twisting vine farm. Now, time for farm number 2. Farm numero dos. Have you ever wanted a bunch of nether sprouts and warped roots? Maybe a bunch of warped fungus or crimson fungus? Maybe the crimson roots? No, because 1.16 isn't out yet? Well, okay, valid, very valid, but once the Nether update drops, if you want maybe a bunch of warped and crimson fungus for those gigantic fungus trees, these are the farms for you. These things are insanely easy to build and super easy to use. With these things, you can farm up a bunch of the crimson roots and the crimson fungus, or if you're into the warp stuff, a bunch of the warped things. To use either one of these farms, stand back, bone meal the block in front of the observer, and the ground will move for you and harvest everything. Then you can walk into the farm and pick everything up and go do whatever you need to do with all of these new plants. Maybe you're trying to terraform something. These plants are really cool looking after all. I have no clue. Now, this farm is a little trickier to build than the last one, but the supplies are actually a little bit less. Inside of this chest are all of the materials that you'll need for this build in exact quantities, again, other than the building blocks and the bone meal. If you're planning on using these things, you should probably have a lot of bone meal. Having a skeleton farm first would be a very good idea. But to build the farm, 1 observer, 21 redstone dust, 3 repeaters, 6 pistons, and then either 9 crimson nylium or 9 warped nylium. Now, you might be surprised to hear that the build location does not matter at all. You can build this wherever you'd like in the Nether or even in the overworld. The important part is the nylium. If you're looking for the warped plants, you'll need warped nylium. If you want the crimson plants, you'll need crimson nylium. Either way though, start with a 3x3 square of nylium. Alright, so nylium, check. That was pretty easy. Now it's piston time. On the right side of this farm, place 3 normal pistons touching the nylium, facing the nylium. So just like that. On the left side, place 3 more pistons facing the nylium, but not touching the nylium this time. A little spaced out. After placing all of your pistons, place 1 observer in the center on the back, facing towards the nylium. Now it's redstone time, but watch this. Check it out, elites. I am actually 1 step ahead of you today. So, I actually already went ahead and wired this whole thing up because the wiring is very straightforward here. All that we're trying to do is power the pistons with the observer. That means we can run redstone to the blocks right below the pistons and power the pistons that way. So, that's exactly what I did. To do your redstone, I recommend placing 1 repeater on the center of each set of pistons. To the left and right of that repeater, place a redstone dust. Behind all of that, link everything up with the wire going back over towards the observer. But you will need to do one thing differently on the side with the pistons that are spaced out from the nylium. Add a repeater somewhere in between the pistons and the observer, right here would be fine, and then add a little bit of delay to that repeater. If you don't do that, things are going to get all messed up in here. So, with the wiring complete, if we update this block right here, the floor will move. Perfect. And then the floor is actually moved right back to where it was before, so we can bone meal it again. Now, as you can see here, everything is being thrown onto the floor. That's exactly what we want. If we were using bone meal instead of redstone here, all of the plants that are grown would be thrown right on the ground for us to walk in here and grab whenever we need. I recommend placing some blocks around the side of this thing like this, and then having a solid floor beneath the nylium so things can't fall through. If you want to, you can definitely stand on the nylium while you're using this thing. I don't know though, I kind of like standing back here, not on the floor. And so, that is how you build a super simple nether plant farm. If you're enjoying this video so far, remember to leave a like. Time for farm number 3. Once the nether update drops, you're probably going to want to get your hands on a lot of basalt. This block is going to be very useful in many different building situations. Farm number 3 will help you get a lot of basalt quickly. Over here, we have a super simple basalt generator. Stand up on top of the thing, hold down the use button with your pickaxe, and collect the basalt. Super simple. This thing literally couldn't get any more easy to use. To build this super compact, simple basalt generator, you will need these supplies right here in exact amounts. This is just building blocks. You can use any non-flammable building blocks. You should probably use non-flammable trapdoors as well, so maybe the new nether ones would be good. This obsidian is kind of actually important, but you could also just choose to use a block that takes a long time to mine. The reason I recommend using obsidian is because it takes so long to mine. If you have an efficient pickaxe, like this one right here with efficiency 5, and you put stone where we're going to put the obsidian, you could end up breaking the stone, which might be a little annoying. So, if possible, get your hands on 1 obsidian. This is blue ice. Only blue ice will work. The build. Start by placing a temporary block down. Then, place a trapdoor on that block and close it. On top of that block, place a trapdoor. On this side of the block, place another trapdoor. Then, go ahead and get rid of that block. Now, behind this thing, place a wall block right there, then a blue ice, and then a wall block. Then, 3 more wall blocks. Over here, place an obsidian, and then down here, place a soul soil block. Now finally, to get this thing up and running, go ahead and dump a lava bucket right there, and boom, basalt generator complete. Stand on top of the trapdoor with your super efficient, probably unbreaking basalt miner pickaxe and hold down the use button. That's it. It would be smart to stand as close to the edge as possible, so we're pretty much on the edge of the trapdoor. That is going to be ideal, so as little basalt as possible gets burnt up. Now, as you can notice, basalt is being thrown all around us too. That's kind of a problem if you were AFK. If you were using this in some sort of AFK situation, it might be a smart idea to run a hopper minecart collection system around this farm just to pick up the excess blocks. Also, definitely put this inside of a building if you're AFKing. Don't do this in the open nether. A ghast could definitely shoot at this thing and blow it up. Put a building around it. So, if you were going to run a minecart line around this thing, you'll need these extra supplies right here in non-exact quantities. I don't know how many rails you'll need because it kind of depends on how you want to do your setup. Over here, I actually did a setup with one single minecart hopper right below this block right here, just in case things were thrown down onto that block. Now, this doesn't seem to happen all the time. In fact, that basalt was the first one that this minecart actually picked up, I think. I've done a bit of testing, and it seems that you get the most basalt from this thing by standing on top of it again as close to the edge of this trapdoor as possible. The basalt, when mined, is sort of shot upwards a little bit. Now, if you were to put this in some sort of building, I would recommend putting the walls one block away from this thing at the closest on this side, and then the other sides, it doesn't really matter. You could do the walls right there and then right there. That would be fine. A door somewhere would be a good idea. Then minecart line right underneath this thing. Hopper minecart on that minecart line. Hopper going into a chest somewhere. You know the deal. Automatic collection system. Use this thing to mine up a bunch of basalt, then take that basalt over to a furnace, smelt it up, and you have the beautiful, absolutely beautiful, polished basalt block for all of your future builds. Maybe you're trying to build a dead tree? Polished basalt is definitely the way to go, for sure. And so elites, that is actually going to be just about it for the farms in today's video. Which farm is your favorite? Let me know down in the comments below. Would you like to see a part 2? Let me know by dropping a like on this video. If you love the content that I make, if you enjoy the videos that I put out, and you'd like to support me just a little bit more, check out my merch. It's right down below the video. You can find all of my links listed right down in the description. If you have something cool to show me, definitely tweet it at me. Check out the subreddit, all of that cool stuff. But until next time, elites, stay fresh. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody.